Our top focus tonight on gravitas as the tensions rise over the West's failure on the Ukraine war. The war-torn country continues to hold the line even as, behind the scenes, political leaders and diplomats try and reach a solution. Russia's relentless offensive in eastern Ukraine is gaining ground slowly. In fact, reports suggest that Russian forces are closer than ever to the key Ukrainian city of Pokrovsk. Now, this city, which is a logistics lifeline and once home to 60,000 people, is now a war zone. And the Ukrainian forces are saying it's the hottest part of the front, with nearly a third of all combat happening there. And for every inch that Russia gains, Ukraine makes sure that they pay in blood. In fact, fierce battles are now raging just 6 kilometers from Pokrovsk. Russian patrols briefly entered the city last week, in fact, in a sign of just how close this is actually getting. And as far as Ukraine's strategy is concerned, it remains focused on slowing the Russians down and holding the line. And Russia has thrown in everything. 110,000 troops, that's at least on paper. And they are pushing towards the city. But you see, these are not elite forces. Many are reportedly undertrained, worn down, and also suffering crushing losses. Russia's goal seems to be to wear down the Ukrainian resistance while cutting off supply lines and choking Pokrovsk without necessarily storming it head on. And yet, as the battlefield burns, US President Donald Trump is looking for a breakthrough. In Washington, Trump says there is a very good chance of a summit with Vladimir Putin, a possible step towards ending the war. In fact, he says good talks were held with Putin's team, and a three-way meeting between Trump, Putin and Zelensky could happen as soon as next week. Trump's frustration is only mounting, and he has said no more delays. And now he's also warning of tough new sanctions if Putin does not agree to a ceasefire. The US Secretary of State has confirmed that Trump is giving Russia just hours to comply or face more punishment. Oil and gas, remember, make up a quarter of Russia's budget. And for the first time, the US says it has concrete examples of what Russia might accept in exchange for peace, a shift from months of silence. And as for Putin, he called the latest talks constructive. Trump's aides are moving quickly as well, and locations for the summit are under discussion. Putin himself has suggested the UAE as host. The push for peace is real, also urgent. But while diplomacy inches forward, the war continues. It's not the same with Zelensky, in fact. Putin says conditions for a potential meeting with the Ukrainian leader had not been met. And the statement comes hours after Zelensky repeated a call for direct talks. Meanwhile, overnight, Russian attacks killed at least 6 people, including a strike on a recreation center in Zaporizhia that injured 4 children. Zelensky called the attack cruelty, aimed at instilling fear. Another strike, this time on a gas station near the Romanian border, targeted Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Hundreds of families left without heating. More weapons are on the way, and NATO allies have pledged over $1 billion in new aid. Much of it US-made, and the US State Department has approved a $200 million deal to help Kiev buy more military gear. And so while Trump prepares for a summit and talks for peace, on the battlefield, the bloodshed continues.